Destructive harpy Randi Weingarten is single-handedly worked with governors and mayors and government agencies to keep schools closed mid-pandemic. And now she's whining to the Wall Street Journal in a letter to the editor that she's being unfairly targeted for shutting down book learning during COVID. That was her sole mission, aggressively squeezing the government teat to milk as much capital as she could for her teachers union. Kids and learning be damned. She is the Tom frickin' Brady of school shutdowns. Never was one person more effective at causing so much intentional damage. Lewis Hamilton is like, floozy, take the wheel. 99% of her union's political donations, where do they go? Democrats, who in turn, at her behest, demonize charter schools and homeschooling of anything that has to do with educational alternatives. So it's only natural in her snot-covered sob story to blame Betsy DeVos and Donald Trump for her learners be damned actions that push for teachers to stay home out of an abundance of caution until schools could get an extra $190 billion in federal funding for masks and fans and plexiglass and testing and social distancing. Oh, and absence. Was your kid's teacher only available 3 hours a day during the pandemic because of health reasons? Thank Randi Weingarten. Was your learner withering away in anxiety, depression, and fading math skills while you busted your ass to pick up the slack as your relatives in Florida were eating out and sending their kids to learn in person? Thanks, Randi. That was your job, and you nailed the dismount like 2016 Simone Biles. In terms of fulfilling her mission as the nation's foremost disruptor of learning and childhood function, Randi Weingarten is the GOAT, meaning her ideas smell horrible and she'll eat anything. So how much of that $190 billion have schools already spent? You know, the ones that have produced 30-year lows in math and reading scores, especially for Black and Latino students. Nevada, New Mexico, and D.C., they have spent less than 5% of their allotment of COVID money. The CBO says there's no way these schools will spend it all until, you're not going to believe this number, 2028. President Newsom will have us all in electric vehicles on the highway to hell by then. So here's the funny thing about bureaucratic gaslighting. When you mess with the most important thing in someone's life, they don't forget. Even when you try to shift the blame and flat out lie about causing irreparable harm to society's youngest, most vulnerable members. People love their kids, but they hate being lied to. And all of ridiculous Randi's flimsy excuses will never absolve her of the generational harm she has committed in the name of safety. And this bitch-ass mother will never let her forget. And that's the memo. There's more proof that our kids are hurting. Back in July, one study found 70% of public schools reported upticks in kids seeking mental health treatment. They're still having a hard time getting it. The World Bank found that shutdowns will cost our kids $21 trillion in earnings over their lifetimes. Should Randi Weingarten donate her $400,000 a year salary to help? The party panel is back. Stephen L. Miller, Jessica Tarlov, and Olivia Rondeau. You know who she reminds me of, Stephen? She reminds me of Anthony Fauci, who is going on this very defensive tour because finally the blame train is making a stop in his city and hers.
Yeah, Fauci's a little, he filters politics through science. Randi Weingarten filters education through, or politics through education. Yeah, this is pretty incredulous. And here you have the arsonist, you know, walking up to the fire and saying, I didn't burn this down, or the hot dog guy saying, we're all trying to find out who did this. You have to go back and be specific. She was crafting policy with the CDC, with Joe Biden's CDC, on how can we, you know, better protect our teachers and things. At the same time, while governors were opening schools, she had teachers in body bags staging die-ins, saying you're going to kill us. There were New York Times op-eds, there were Washington Post op-eds saying you're opening schools too soon. People are like literally going to die. This was not just I tried to get schools open. It was you're going to kill us if we have to go back to our jobs. And I guess the strategy might work on any voter born after 2021. And something important to remember, she was just at the White House last week with Jill Biden. This is not just someone who's kept at arm's length. This is someone with a pretty firm grip over how this administration treats education policy. And she's also the reason why you're seeing record school closures and consolidations, because they can't get staff, because parents have pulled their kids out of public education, which is a good start, by the way.
No, they're bleeding kids, especially in younger grades in San Francisco and New York. And it's only going to get worse because more and more school districts and states across the country they are listening to parents because they realize that parents are activated. And it's not a partisan issue, Jessica, but, you know, from your perspective, this is a person who donates 99% of the teachers' dues to Democrats. Did Randi Weingarten push too far?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we saw that it did have that impact in Georgia. In Virginia. Sorry, yes. Glenn Youngkin. All the G's in the Georgia. Anyway. So that happened, and it got actually pretty close in New Jersey. I talked about this the other day. There was a whole slew of articles discussing what was going on in these Democrat voter focus groups, and parents were talking incessantly about the education issue. They were not talking about CRT or potential grooming or these kind of, far-right conversations about what's going on in education. They were talking about the fact that their kids hadn't been back in classrooms and that they were wearing masks unnecessarily and that it was hurting their development. Now, the latest polling from last week showed that Democrats still have a 10-point advantage in terms of who's trusted more to handle the education issue. I think a lot of that is due to the fact that I don't hear many solutions besides sending kids out of the public school system from Republicans. There's a lot of talk about charter schools. There's a lot of talk about homeschooling. But a lot of Americans believe in a good and, safe and fabulous public school system, and they want to hear from politicians on both sides of the aisle what kind of reforms are going to be made to ensure that their kids have a good education.
I'm glad you brought that up. Olivia, so how fabulous is it for underserved communities to have failing schools where kids are forced to go? Is that pretty fabulous for them?
Get the state out of education, period. The government is the reason why minorities and low-income students in urban areas are forced to go to a school based on their zip code, not based on that student's needs. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and I think it's honestly an evidence of structural racism and structural classism, because if you look at the NAEP scores, like you said, lower class or lower income earning students and minorities, blacks and Latinos, reduce their scores by a higher margin than white students and rich students did. I mean, those are the facts. And so the Department of Education is really interesting because it's the one monopoly that people on the left, progressives, will defend. They'll say, bust the monopolies, bust these big trusts, bust the billionaire companies. But the monopoly on education, oh yeah, we love that.
Yeah, let's keep that right where that is and keep those underserved students failing.